Let's begin by telling you that strong indications suggest that President Bola Tinubu is set to reshuffle his cabinet in a bid to remove underperforming ministers. Sources in the presidency who pleaded anonymity revealed that some ministers would be dismissed while others would be reassigned to other ministries for improved effectiveness. The president has been under mounting pressure from within his party, the All Progressives Congress, as well as external sources, to dismiss some ministers who have been perceived as inactive. The president has made it clear that any minister or aide who fails to meet expectations will be removed from office. This comes just days after Tinubu replaced the Directors General of the National Intelligence Agency and the Department of State Services following their resignations. A worsening fuel scarcity is gripping Nigeria as millions of citizens endure skyrocketing prices and severe shortages of petrol. The ongoing crisis, which has persisted intermittently for weeks, has escalated with long queues reappearing at filling stations nationwide. Reports from major cities like Lagos and Abuja reveal that many filling stations have run out of petrol, while others are selling at exorbitant prices, further compounding the crisis. This has led to a sharp increase in transportation fares, adding to the hardship faced by commuters. Frustrated motorists and commuters have voiced their anger and disappointment over the government's failure to resolve the lingering fuel shortage. As the situation deteriorates, citizens are urging the government to take immediate and decisive action to alleviate the scarcity and provide much-needed relief to the public. Ukadike Chinedu, Publicity Secretary Ipman, joined us earlier on the news to discuss this.
Despite assurances from the national oil company in Nigeria telling people that we're just having distribution issues and it will be sorted soon, we've still seen that most petrol stations do not still have the product. And the few ones that even have the product are not, they have their premises crowded with motorcycles, tricycles, users and people holding jerrycan-bearing buyers and people who have actually even had to disconnect the tank of their generator set just to come here to purchase the product, which is petrol. Currently, we are in Lagos. This is Ogba area, and this is one of the filling stations that is selling. And you've seen, from the few people we've spoken to earlier, they've come from various local governments, 6, 7 local government far away from here just to get to this place to get petrol. And one of the reasons why they haven't chosen this particular station is because it sells for, I wouldn't say as low, but for a price of 618 naira, as against what some independent fuel stations are selling, which goes almost to 900 or even 1,000 naira.
That was our correspondent, Igbalani Omoni, who was out earlier on the streets of Lagos. And now we will link you up with Ukadike Chinedu, Publicity Secretary Ipman, who joined us earlier on the news.
Until NNPCL allocates petroleum products to us. And for some time now, the portal of NNPCL has been shut down. We can no longer allocate petroleum products. But recently, the NNPCL have imported petroleum products into the country, and distribution have started. I'm aware that there are some vessels that have lopsided in Port Harcourt, especially in OVH and Warri, and also in Lagos. I think the vessel will have product now. And with the independent marketer, the national president has mandated that all the independent marketers should continue to render services and ensure that if the security is good, we can be able to give services for at least for 24 hours. While we don't have good security, we should ensure that our stations open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so that these sufferings that Nigerians are facing this period of time will be eradicated.
In the meantime, residents of Umuahia have expressed frustrations over government's inaction concerning the escalating cost of petrol at filling stations. The price of petrol has soared from 900 naira a week ago to over 1,000 naira today at the privately owned fuel stations in Umuahia. Only the NNPCL stations still sell at 595 naira per litre, resulting in very lengthy queues at their stations, even when they are not selling.
My sister, is too much for us. It's very, very hard for us. In fact, very, very difficult for us, and we are not in problem, very, very problem. So there's nothing we can do than to buy it at any cost.
That's the situation we see ourselves into. We don't have any other option than to buy it because we don't actually know how they are regulating it. So it's what they give to us, we buy.
I don't know what's the problem. You understand? So I don't have choice than to buy. They're selling 1,015 naira, so that's what they're selling here. And it's too high. It's too high. It's not good. We are suffering here. So the government is supposed to look on those things, you know.
To get fuel at a cheaper rate. Because currently now, fuel is now 1,000 plus. And they are selling 595 naira.
Yeah, because it's only here, it's the only place we can buy cheap fuel. 595.
I better park my car because I can't maintain it. Because I consume not less than 10 liters of fuel every day. Minimum when I don't travel out of home. So that 10 liters of fuel should be about 10,000. Which is not easy for me now to buy every day. So I don't know why government don't want to do something about this fuel problem. It's something that they can give an instruction. It will work the way they want it. The filling station should not be controlling the price of market, mainly the petroleum products. It's unfair.
All right, live joining us from Umuahia is our correspondent, Chingwe Ugele. Hello, Chingwe, can you hear me? Chingwe, if you can hear me, give us an update of, the fuel situation in Umuahia. What is happening?
It's quite noisy out there because of the chaos happening behind it. I'm standing right in front of the NNPC outlet, one of the outlets here in Umuahia, and they just started selling while people had been on the queue since last night. Some parts their vehicles are waiting as early as 6 a.m. and they just started selling an hour ago. And it's crazy actually because people are struggling to purchase and people are selling at lower rates. Selling at 585 naira. That's why there's a queue, a long queue on this actually. But then in other petrol stations, where they are also selling independent markets at between 900 and 900. I just bought a change plan with an NN station, a privately owned station at 990 naira per litre, up to, and then further selling at 1,050 naira. So, and people not find the question funny at all.
Okay, you talked about people not finding it funny. What are they saying about the situation? I'm talking about, commuters, drivers, and, general consumers.
The government is very about regulation. Maybe that the government should do something about the situation because if people just wake up every day and they increase the contract. So if a contract is making at the has bought petrol at the space on a day, if you at 850 naira Sunday by buying 816 naira. So it kept increasing. And looking at it, people had thought that 1,000 naira, the increment is up, but it hasn't. Because the station went this morning, the 1,000. Is that high? And people are complaining. The more people are complaining, to make up the
All right, Chingwe, thank you for that update. Now let's join our correspondent in Benue State, Umuahia, who would be giving us an update on the fuel situation in Maiduguri. Umaru, if you can hear me, please go ahead with your update. What is the fuel situation like in Benue State?
Well, the fuel situation in Benue State is much more similar with that of Umuahia. Because motorists are, the situation cannot just be explained because almost all the NNPCL filling stations are closed, including that of Yobe State. They are not dispensing today, but some filling stations are dispensing fuel, but at different prices. Some are selling at the price of 1,000 naira, others are selling at the price of 1,100, others 1,050 naira, while others are selling at 900 naira. But the unfortunate incident here in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, is that black marketing spots are selling even lesser than the conventional or the normal petrol filling stations. This is what many residents are asking.
So where do the black marketers get their own fuel from if they're selling lesser?
There's one filling station. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was asking where the black marketers get their own fuel from if they're selling lesser than filling stations.
Yes. The black marketers usually, from what I got, because I asked some of them, they said they are getting the petrol from the NNPCL, and they will have to follow queue and get those products. Maybe they got it day before yesterday and yesterday, but they are selling it below the normal filling station filling station prices. But like I was saying, fortunate enough, there is one filling station that distinguishes itself in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The filling station, and I'm standing in, you can see a lot of people queued up, waiting to get their fuel. They are waiting for their turn to get their fuel because this filling station is selling at the price of 880 naira. That is why a lot of them have queued up. I have one of the motorists who will tell us, more with regard to what they are going through there. So, Brosalaki Nandero Sumbude. So, you go to Buker. I under Bulu in Kala or Aude Kalakanda and Bunina Tindao. Nare, so keep on dinner, say in La Gidamay Ada, the Erano Karinga Kazanada. Alan Gima and Darmada, Nala, so keep on dinner, the Pusrobular, now again. Who Nada Lenimanera do Volmanera India. Nada Lenimanera do Polos, Amagida, my Shadmar. Allies, she the Ishanera Yer Uskun Piscon. Guru NNPC Day. Pata Saladin man NNPC do Gaya to come and Kanda open the about. Take Illa Gidamwe Ada. Gidamwe Karinga Kazanada. Matri Saboroga Skivan Yano Pusharimbo. You did there, someone put today. So, what he is saying here is that they are getting the fuel, but like this filling station is given at the price of 880 naira. That is why a lot of people do to get the product, and other selected filling stations like Hebron and others in Maiduguri. But by and large, the official NNPCL filling stations are not dispensing fuel for now.
Okay.
And from my contact in neighboring border communities like that of Kirawa, because of the bad access road to the community, people now purchase fuel at the price of 1,700 naira at a border community between Nigeria and Cameroon. So this is the fuel situation here in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Umaru, for sharing that update with us. And now we have standing by to give us an update on the fuel situation in Sabah Delta State. We have Austin Azu. But before we come to you, Austin, in Asaba Delta state capital, South Nigeria, filling stations have remained crowded in major mega fuel stations as others have shorter queues with high prices. Now, although a number of filling stations were still shut, while some continued to sell for as much as between 850 naira and 950 naira per litre. There had been biting scarcity of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, across the country for over a month, with the product selling for over 1,000 naira in some places before now.
Sometimes NNPC will there far for where I'm living. I will not be able to pay transport go there. I will just go where they close to me and buy any amount they are selling there. So far, it's close to me to go and do whatever I want to do.
We buy 950 for here, my brother. You buy 950 self. If na metal be correct metal, it will be the. You carry them from here reach here, you don't finish. A day now, before I go fit work 10,000, I don't buy for almost 8,000 naira. Then my brother, the thing what we face now, it pass us.
I beg you, look this meter. I don't just say complete because when we buy now, what I go, we no go sell me again. We can't go come back. We no go see the fuel again.
We are buying at the cost of 815 euro. That's what we are buying, and it's so cost. It's not easy. Common man, it's not easy to buy it. And at the same time, they told us that we will not be buying with a gallon. So it makes things to be more difficult. Can somebody able to? You have not even paid your transport. Talk of carrying your generator from house. These days we don't even have light. We have challenge of light. There's no company we go without seeing generator there. And many companies they don't have motor or keke or anything. They will go and rent for them to meet up, to carry, to buy the fuel. Become another difficult thing for them.
At the NNPC filling station, Okpanam opposite airport, Asaba Airport, International Airport. We are here to buy fuel. There's no fuel. We've been here for like hours. Many people slept here last night. The commercial vehicles, if you look around, you can see commercial vehicles. We are going to Lagos. Some of us are going to Abuja from east here. The high price of fuel is, I don't know how to put it, but we are suffering in this country because of fuel.
All right, so we have our correspondents. First of all, we have Austin joining us in Asaba Delta State, and we also have Chizoba and Nyongwe, who will be joining us from Jos Plateau State. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's start with you, Chizoba. Can you tell us where you are at the moment and what the situation is?
Okay, good afternoon, Dashen. See very well. I am at the mega station, the NNPC mega station in Jos, the Plateau State capital. And you can see very well, you can see some buses just right behind me in front of the fuel station. They are waiting to buy fuel. But the funny thing that is not funny is just that the drivers have just parked their cars here and left. So what we got, pillars we got when we arrived here is that they had information that they will start selling petrol by tomorrow. And so the fact that they want to come here, queue, and of course buy the product is an assurance that they leave their cars here, of course parked at owner's risk, leave it here, go back home, and then early tomorrow morning, which is Monday, they'll come back again when they hope that they would start selling the product. But as it is now, all the cars here, Agata, can you please pan so that we can see the queue for those waiting to buy this product? It is very, very sad. It's as long away from here, like 3-4 kilometers, you know, and nobody is inside any of these cars you are seeing. It's just for them to be sure that when they come back tomorrow, they'll be able to have this.
All right, Chizoba, but is this also obtainable in other filling stations in Plateau? I'm talking about, you know, them not selling today, but hopefully they will be selling tomorrow as well.
Well, yes, in some private fuel stations, it's also the same case. Just like 20 kilometers away from here, the nearest from here is about 10 kilometers away. You know, it's also the same situation there, but unfortunately, so many others indeed, they do not have the products. They are not selling. Nobody is even there. It's on the locker. only saving grace they have is if the mega station decides to sell the product by tomorrow, and that other filling station I told you about, if they decide to sell tomorrow, good and fine, then these motorists will be able to buy the product. If not, then of course your guess will just be as good as mine. But it's actually a sad situation.
All right, let's connect with Austin in Asaba. Austin, what are the people saying about this lingering fuel shortage?
First and foremost, where we are now, we are behind one of the mega filling stations here in Asaba. Earlier on, the long queues here, the long queue at this particular place, you discover that some people have decided to locate other filling stations. Behind me, you can see some little vehicles still trying to gain their entrance into the filling stations to get the fuel. Earlier on, we went around the state capital. We saw the litre of fuel going for 850, 950, and even 1,000. So that shows that the product here is not readily available, unlike before where you can just go into any of these areas and you can get your product. Now from the notice you can see from this far end, you can see that this filling station is selling at the rate of 800 naira. So, and some people who are on mobile, those who are going to Lagos, those who are going to Abuja, will likely get this product as soon as possible for them to meet up, knowing quite well that the roads are not too good. They have to leave on time. But suffice to say that earlier on when we went out, we spoke to a cross-section of people who expressed diverse opinion about the ongoing fare crisis. A couple of them seems not to be happy with the situation. Some of them said they have been at the filling station, that's the mega filling station, around 6 a.m. So even came around 4 a.m. Before they could get to their turn for them to get fare, it was around to 12. And imagine somebody who has an emergency to run and the person needs fare. Of course, the person cannot be able to get the fare. And everybody seems to be going to the mega filling station, that's the NNPC, to get the fare because it's quite cheaper to them, because NNPC seems to be selling at the rate of 591 naira against other independent marketers who are selling 800, 850 and 950, depends on the filling station. And not only that as well, here in the state capital, here in Asaba, you can buy fare in your jerry can, knowing fully well that we have other small-scale business operators in the state who will likely going to use these products to run their businesses. So it becomes a real challenge to them. So they have to wait till maybe when they'll be able to see 1 or 2 persons in the filling stations for them to get their fare. So it has been a real stress for motorists and other persons using petrol products here in the state capital.
Okay, Austin, but is there an issue of, black marketers selling this fuel products? Is there an issue of that? Because Kirawa from Benue State actually complained about that as well. And he even said that they're selling lesser than some of these filling stations.
Well, the issue of the black markets, we can't rule it out because some people would definitely take advantage of this issue of no selling of fare in jerrycan. But however, sometimes we did a report ago, we saw some people who came with jerrycan, but some people were, were bounced back. But nevertheless, we equally saw some people today to the mega filling stations with jerrycans. They were carrying fare. But what we discovered from what we saw was like, when you come to the filling stations with your jerrycans, definitely there's what we call matching. The matching is like sorting. You need to sort, you need to bribe for you to be given products. Unlike before that you can just go in there, even if you have your vehicle and you bought fare in your vehicle for you to get it, and you have to bring out your jerry can to put fuel inside it, you must still sort them before you can get fare inside your jerry can. But if you don't sort them, there's no way you can get it. So, but a lot of persons who are into this black market business, most of them cannot get down to the city here to get fare. So some people who will get this fare, they will not take it back to where they will be able to sell it at quite exorbitant rates. Sometimes they will even sell it at the rate of 1,500 naira. Some depends on the area. They will even sell it 2,000 naira per litre in those black market areas. But
Okay.
during the daytime, you can't see them operating because the task force in this area seems to be clamping down on them.
No, definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Austin, and thank you, Chingwe, for Chizoba, I beg your pardon, for joining us and giving us an update on the fuel situation in your states. We go on a break now, and when we return, former beauty queen Oluwadamilola Aderingoye finally surrenders to NDLEA. We'll bring you this and more after the break. Welcome back. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has vowed to prevent any takeover of the People's Democratic Party structure in Rivers State. The former Rivers State governor warned of potential political crisis in any state governed by a PDP leader who attempts to meddle in the party's affairs in Rivers State. PDP governors who recently met in Taraba State on August 23rd discussed the ongoing crisis within the party in Rivers and expressed their support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara. In a communique read by PDP Governors Forum Chairman and Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, the governors called for a review of the party Congress results to reinstate Fubara's leadership in the state. Speaking during the PDP State Congress in Port Harcourt on Saturday, Wike urged the governors to avoid interfering in Rivers State party matters. In an effort to enhance the handling of sexual crimes, the Nigerian police, in partnership with the Lake Chad Basin Support Framework, have launched a comprehensive training program for officers. The course focuses on sexual and gender-based violence, equipping officers with the skills needed for effective investigations in Benue State. News Central's Umar has the details.
As Borno State in Nigeria's northeast continues to recover from prolonged insurgency, tackling sexual and gender-based violence remains a crucial part of the recovery process. The training program emphasizes investigative skills and sensitivity towards sexual crimes. The initiative aims to prepare officers to provide specialized support and resources for victims of sexual violence.
This course provides us with the knowledge, skill, and attitude how we are going to deal with the SGBB case, and also how we are going to approach a survivor.
If they brought a survivor to a station as a rape at a point of rape, we take the survivor to the hospital, meet the doctor. He's the one that will examine her, treat her, and take her back to the station.
This training has really broadened our knowledge on SGBV cases and relevant laws that are applicable.
The 43rd Commissioner of Police in Borno State, Mohammed Yusufu, provides sexual and gender-based violence specialized investigators with strategic guidance, leadership, and other technical expertise.
It is little wonder that from the national database, you have seen statistics of gender-related violence on the high rise in this part of the country. So it is, of course, necessary that we need the required intervention. One, don't just look at gender-based violence in isolation to other crime. It has a spillover effect to one, suicide, drug abuse, broken home, so spread of venereal diseases. So the consequences of gender-based violence, if not properly handled, can dislocate the entire fabric of our ethics and norms as people and as society.
There is now going to be 35 gender desks across the divisions, across the whole of Borno State, that then survivors can be interviewed by specialist trained officers.
These specialized desks are expected to offer essential support to survivors and enhance overall responses to sexual and gender-based violence in the region. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umar Kirawa.
About 150 human rights volunteers in Nigeria have been equipped with relevant skills to lead the campaign against human rights violations in rural communities across the country. This initiative by Amnesty International empowered youths from 25 states in Nigeria and will develop a framework for the efficient deployment of personnel for campaigns against rights violations. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, completes the report.
It's a gathering of about 150 volunteers from Amnesty International across 25 states of the Federation. Each of them is being empowered with the necessary tools and strategies that will aid their advocacy for human rights within their communities.
Today we're engaging in Nigeria with volunteers and supporters that work with us to ensure that the work they do across different parts of Nigeria reaches the voiceless, in particular people in different communities, looking at different types of rights that are being violated, whether by individuals or state actors or non-state actors. Issues around freedom of expression, assembly, pushing for the rights of people.
While the purpose of the gathering is to increase the number of human rights defenders across states and local communities, it also offers them an opportunity to share ideas.
Our expectation from them is to improve their capacity in the work that they do. They're very vital. They're part of the chain of the work that we do. They do a lot of the field work with people also who work with them in the field. And so our expectation is they pick up skills, knowledge, and then also network. What we've done is to bring all of them from across the country to see how they can collaborate in doing the work together and sharing knowledge, cross-learning across the country that would also help pushing for protection of human rights in Nigeria.
In places where we cannot reach, they help us in doing that. And my expectation from this event is that we create a more vibrant community. Apart from that, we also want to launch more like the national platform where everyone who is interested in joining the platform are able to keep abreast. Also ensure that they're also empowered in the sense that they're able to understand what is needed to be done in terms of the priorities of Amnesty International Nigeria.
Amnesty International says that it is hoping that the volunteers will help speak out against rights violations in their communities. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The body of the late Lilian Jeremys, mother of billionaire oil mogul Lilian Jeremys, has been laid to rest amidst tributes at her residence in Umuahia, Sapele, Delta State. Her funeral ceremony took place over 2 days, brought together people from all walks of life, including former governor of Delta State, James Ibori, former Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, and former President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, to pay their last respect to the matriarch. News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who captured the 2-day event, reports.
Is the final rites of late Lilian Jeremys, which begins at her residence in Umuahia, Sapele, Delta State, with service of songs on Thursday, August 29th, 2024. The following day, the ceremony continues, as her body is taken in a motorcade to the First Baptist Church on Paman Road, Sapele, for her funeral service. First, her son Toyo Jeremys reads her biography.
As a business person, all her life, she was mostly interested in beauty items as well as household commodities. The later which became a passion thus, making her to give her best to her communities and beyond.
In a sermon titled Good and Bad Time to Die, the senior pastor of the church, Smart Ejwanogwaga, urges everyone to live a life of humility, irrespective of their social status.
We should try to know the purpose of God for our life and work in that purpose. Another good time to die, when you live a life that are led, a life that is led by the Lord himself. Whether you are a Christian or not, God does not want you to walk aimlessly in life.
The funeral service over, the body of late Lilian Jeremys returns to her residence for interment, where she is committed to Mother Earth as her children, family members and friends struggled to come to terms with her departure.
She was a unifier. Had this permanent smile on her face. Very calm, motherly, understanding. Lovely. And a sacrificer. Everyone who has met her has a story to tell. She was the one that held the entire family together.
Thereafter, guests are entertained at the Sapele Atlantic Club, where families, friends and associates continue their tributes to the matriarch's legacy of love and generosity.
And I've known Mama all my life. She's my mother, she's my friend, she's my best friend, she's my supporter, she's my everything. Mama is what I would describe as the Proverb 31 woman. Mama is hardworking, Mama is caring. I mean, Mama is everything a child could ever ask for.
Because your mom is your confidant, your mom is your everything. So, you know, I knew her, knew she was everything. She was quite approachable, very warm, very cordial, you know, extremely passionate about the Shakiris, and you know, so that's why I'm dressed like this, you know, to show her the kind of love and respect, you know. So, but she was indeed a very, very fantastic woman, you know. I hate using the word was because in her heart, she's still there.
Late Lilian Jeremys was born September 30th, 1949, to late Tennessee Esedawo in the Reju community of Warri North local government area of Delta State. She was the third of 9 children and was blessed with children and grandchildren, among whom is Nigeria oil magnate and businessman Sholaye Jeremy. In Sapele for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has announced that former beauty queen Oluwadamilola Aderingoye has surrendered to its Lagos command. Aderingoye, who was crowned Miss Commonwealth Nigeria Culture in 2015-2016, had been on the run for 8 months after being declared wanted by the agency. According to a statement by NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi on Sunday, Aderingoye was declared wanted after she escaped during a raid on her Lekki apartment on January 24, 2024. During the raid, operatives recovered 606 grams of Canadian loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis, along with an electronic weighing scale, a large quantity of drug packaging materials, a black RAV4 SUV with registration Lagos KSF 872GQ, and a picture frame of the ex-beauty queen. In East Africa, a planned strike by staff of Kenya's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has been delayed once again, this time by a week following an earlier 2-week postponement in August. The Kenya Aviation Workers Union announced the latest delay on Saturday. Around 10,000 union members had initially planned to strike on August 19 in protest of the Kenya government's proposed investment deal with India's Adani Group to expand and operate the airport. The strike was first pushed to September 2nd to allow for negotiations and has now been postponed for another 7 days. In a statement, the union said the delay would give its members time to review the proposals and make formal demands to the government. The United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed has welcomed the arrival of food aid in Sudan, but emphasized that it remains insufficient. During her visit to the Adre border crossing in Chad, she witnessed the passage of humanitarian convoys and highlighted the urgent need for more support. Amina stated that the UN is currently able to fund only 25 to 30% of the required aid and urged governments to fulfill their commitments to help those in need. She also called for an immediate resolution to the ongoing conflict in Sudan. Recent negotiations in Geneva between the warring parties saw little progress towards ending the fighting, though they did agree to allow humanitarian aid to pass through 2 key border points.
suffered for a long time. There are many crises in the world, and we hear about the atrocities, we hear about the hunger. And today, an additional border, an important border, has been opened in the last week, and we are seeing aid going through to try to reach those people. They are in many camps, they are in many towns, and we will try to see how we get through. We work with local partners, so these are Sudanese people, and we hope that we can get this aid to where it's needed. You will have heard what the Secretary General has to say.
In other news from around the world, Israel's military announced on Sunday the discovery of 6 dead hostages in Gaza tunnels as medics in the Palestinian territory prepare for pauses in fighting to carry out a polio vaccination drive. According to a military statement, the hostages' remains were recovered on Saturday from an underground tunnel in Rafah area and have been formally identified in Israel. The victims were named as Hirsch Goldberg Poland, a dual U.S.-Israeli national, Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Alexander Lobanov, and Russian-Israeli Almog Sarusi and Master Sergeant Ori Danino. The 6 were among the 251 hostages taken during Hamas's October 7 attack on southern Israel, which sparked the ongoing war. Currently, 97 hostages remain captive in Gaza, including 33 whom the Israeli army has declared dead. In the meantime, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to settle the score with Hamas after the military recovered the bodies of 6 hostages from a tunnel in Gaza. Netanyahu also accused Hamas of being responsible for a deadly shooting attack earlier on Sunday near Hebron in the occupied West Bank. Now, according to police, 3 officers, 2 men and 1 woman, were killed in the early morning attack near the Terkimia checkpoint close to Hebron. While Hamas has not officially claimed responsibility for the West Bank attack, it described the incident as a heroic operation by the resistance in a statement. Now, in the world of sports, President of the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria, Charles Ezenwanne, is confident that the nation's athletes at the ongoing Paris Paralympics in France will do the country proud. Ezenwanne made this known on News Central's flagship sports program In the Game Today, stating that all the athletes in camp are in high spirits and have adequately prepared in training camps in Germany and Nigeria before the Games.
I was with PCM President yesterday and the Secretary General, and we met with some athletes. My view is that this Paralympic is going to be it's only four federations that qualified for this Paralympics.
Indeed.
That is para badminton, para table tennis, para athletics, and para powerlifting. These 4 federations that are here to represent Nigeria will make us proud. Well, all of them have been in camp. We interacted with some of them yesterday. They are with high spirits.
NFL player Ricky Pearsall has been shot in the chest during an attempted robbery in San Francisco. Pearsall, who is 23, sustained a bullet wound to his chest and is in a serious but stable condition, according to his team, the San Francisco 49ers, following the incident by the city's Union Square on Saturday afternoon. Police say a 17-year-old suspect is in custody and charges are pending. Footage shared on social media showed a shirtless Pearsall being walked to an ambulance by paramedics and sitting on a gurney as he held a shirt to his chest. Pearsall was a first-round draft pick by the 49ers in April when the best college players were chosen to join the NFL. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Tinubu's cabinet is set for major overhaul. Underperforming ministers are to face the axe. We also told you that Nigerians groan as petrol prices rise, government urged to take immediate action. Finally, you heard that Kenya Airport Union has given government breathing room, delay strike by another week. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Dashen. Usman.